Welcome back, everybody. So I am currently sitting around top 500 place in the world, and I want to talk about like what does the metagame look like up there, and what decks did other people use to reach the really high tier ranks. Like I'm talking top 10, because you can find those lists. So I want to share them with you, give you an insight on what the meta looks like at the very top. Like what are these people playing that allows them to gain points so consistently? Before we go any forward, number one, subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate it. Number two, I got to tell you guys, I am jealous of you people that are down maybe like beginning Master Ball, Ultra Ball, whatever. I'm assuming you guys are having a great deal of fun, because it is rough up there, man. There are really two decks I see, and the first one we'll talk about is Suicune, but there are really like two decks you'll see. All of them played, like, there are a couple different versions of the two same decks, and some of them are just really greedy. Other ones are pretty, like, go for consistency, and it makes it very difficult to actually metagame in any way, because the two decks have completely different strengths, are teched for different things, and that means that, like, one list doesn't really do it all, and there's, like, a consistent blend of everything too. It's just really tough. So the number one deck that people are using is Suicune. I think this is the... Okay, I don't want to deal with the fact that people are playing 1,000 different versions of the same decks, all with different tech cards. If I just play Suicune, I'm going to, on average, out-consistency them, out-power them, right? This is probably the number one deck right now. This Indeedee has really made it hard for a lot of other decks to honestly exist. Indeed, like, there were other decks that what they would aim to do is take Mega Altaria. Mega Altaria would, you know, it didn't have a great time into Suicune, but it could at least, like, item lock with Chingling and then go into Mega Altaria quickly and knock out the Suicune. With the Indeedee, that's just not possible with the way that Mega Altarias are built now, because Suicune's going to take 10 damage from Chingling, and it's just going to heal it off. So Suicune is, for all intents and purposes, always going to stay at 140 or 160 damage until your big threat is up there attacking. It just makes it really tough. Now, it does suck to start the Indeedee, but I think that the strength of what the Indeedee does for you makes it, like, that good. And then it's back onto the double Greninja, double baby Greninja, double Cyrus, just because it's really important for a lot of these other decks to take advantage of being able to knock out, like, dinos and whatever else is attempting to get set up on the bench. Also good into Mega Absol, because all of those dark decks play Mega Absol. And it's good to have a second Cyrus, because your first Cyrus, there's a good chance that it'll just get ripped away by the Mega Absol, and you want to know that you can still go get that thing. This is the list I have seen the most. I think the only other variation of this really that gets any sort of play is -1 Giant Cape, +1 Copycat. It's kind of all people are doing with the list. Other than that, it's staying the same with this style build, but unfortunately, I know most of you guys probably are not, like, pumped to be playing Suicune still. But if you want just, like, hey, this is the consistent way to get points, this is it. You will win against any Hydreigons that aren't high rolling. Even if they do high roll, you have a chance to, like, bounce back. Like, if they get an early game high roll and get a Hydreigon out early, there's a good chance you can still stabilize from there if things are going average for you. It's a tough matchup for Hydreigon, honestly. And there's, like, lists that try to combat it, and we'll go over those as well, but you give up a lot of consistency to do so. I'm not sure where I've landed with Hydreigon, to be honest. I'll show you my list, and I'll show you the list that other players are playing. But this is Suicune. I don't need to spend too much more time on it, but this is the list that pretty much everyone is using to achieve very high ranks. Next up is Hydreigon Mega Absol, and this comes from Mr. Saigun, S1 Gun, whatever. You guys, if you know anything about ranked, the guy's, like, always ranked number 1. He's in 3rd place right now, so I don't know what he's doing. He's slacking. He's been slacking. This is a different take on Hydreigon. I have tried this version out, and for me, Hydreigon without Chingling does not set up as well as Hydreigon without it. or whatever I'm trying to say. This deck does not set up as well as the Chingling version, but if it's able to set up, it is so much stronger than the Chingling version because the Giant Cape plus the Indeedee really matters. It matters for the mirror. It matters into Suicune, like that 20 extra damage, 20 extra health from Giant Cape plus the healing from Indeedee really makes it hard if the deck can just get online. If you can get a Hydreigon out with an Indeedee on the bench, it is insanely scary for your opponent. The hard part is doing that, right? For the most part, I have found that if you put Mega Absol down against Suicune, you kind of just lose because you almost never want to use the Mega Absol to go attack something for the most part, right? Because it's going to two-shot any Suicune. It will then take damage, and then it's just a Cyrus away from getting knocked out, probably. So you'll have to, like, rip a Cyrus out of their hand and then just hope they never see their other Cyrus. But this deck doesn't play any form of hand disruption, so if they start Suicune, they're going to see their entire deck before the game's over. So putting down Mega Absol kind of means you lose. And why does that matter? Well, that means that until you get Hydreigon, you are not doing any damage. You're doing nothing. You might be pinging 30 with Absol, which is really, like, it's kind of inconsequential against Suicune. By the time it adds up, like, they will have Iridud, or if you're trying to cheese a knockout through a Froakie, they might put a Giant Cape on it and make it require 3 pings. They might just Rare Candy Evolve it. They might Irida it if they really feel it's necessary. Like, there's a lot of ways for them to kind of just shrug off this 30 damage a turn from Absol, and you can't even do it that often, right? If you go first and you start Absol, well, they're just one attachment away from knocking it out. So if you attach an energy to it, then you get 130 poke off, and, like, good luck with doing anything with that throughout the game. So, like, this is the more high roll version of Hydreigon. And again, if it gets set up, it's so much stronger than the Chingling version. The Chingling version sets to do what Hydreigon wants to more often. This deck says, hey, if I can just pull it off, I am kind of unbeatable. And it really is. A Hydreigon with 170 HP. It is essentially effectively only taking 10 damage from its ability because Indeedee's just going to heal it. Super tough to deal with. Also, the one Giovanni, it allows you to get a knockout on a Suicune without a cape. And other weird spots as well. Like, it comes up. The Giovanni was coming up in very strange circumstances, but it was working. It does what it needs to. Oh, also into, like, Mega Absol. If you hit a Mega Absol, you can Giovanni it 90 plus 80. You're going to be able to knock out that Mega Absol without your Rocky Helmets in the deck because we're not playing any. So that's another good thing about the Geo. Yeah, very scary list if it gets going. If your opponent gets time, this deck is it's like a dream for this deck to see a deck that is not playing red card. If the deck isn't playing red card, this deck is going to have an amazing time against it. But otherwise, yeah, it can be a little bit hard to set up. Now, this is the Hydreigon list I've been using, and this one, you can just get some free wins. If you start Chingling and you item lock your opponent and they don't get another basic, you can just copycat their hand, get into Rare Candy Hydreigon. I've won a lot of games that way, but its end game is nowhere near as strong, right? When you attack with Hydreigon, you are almost guaranteeing that it will be knocked out by, like, a Suicune or another Hydreigon. Something is going to be able to knock out that Hydreigon, so you can kind of only get one attack off with them, which then makes it very hard. Like, if the game starts to go the distance, you are not in the best place, because if you attack with Hydreigon and it does get knocked out the next turn, or even if you have to use 2 Hydreigon attacks to knock something out, and then the Hydreigon gets knocked out, really tough to set up a second Hydreigon, and then the game's on Mega Absol finishing the job. So this list that I've been playing, I've been back and forth between just one card in here, and that's Pokemon Center Lady. I don't know if it's better to have Pokemon Center Lady or Sabrina. Again, the meta is so diverse. Honestly, it's just feel to me. There's no way, I don't think, to accurately test this without pulling out the spreadsheet, and even then, no, you can't, because, like, every deck has such different tech cards in it. that you can't even say like, oh, I played against a Hydreigon and the Pokemon Center Lady helped me. It's like, well, the Pokemon Center Lady might have helped against this specific variant, but it definitely wouldn't have in the other one. So it's very, very hard to like actually hone in on a 20 with any of these lists, to be honest. It's really, really difficult. And I think that's kind of cool at the very least there, where I don't think there's an optimal 20. I think a Suicune maybe, because the deck is like doing the same thing every single game and drawing so many cards. But a deck like this, it's like, I might not even see my Pokemon Center Lady / Sabrina like half the time. I just might never draw into them because the games are either over quickly or they're stuck to the bottom of my deck, or neither of them would have had a use case in a game. Like, Pokemon Center Lady is not getting played every single game the way that Cyrus is, right? So, I don't know, maybe you just go double Cyrus. Maybe that's the takeaway, is I'm trying to use Cyrus every game, but Pokemon Center Lady / Sabrina are applicable like maybe 30% of the time. Maybe that's the way to look at it. But yeah, so I've gotten a lot of like really, really fast wins with this deck, which is great for attempting to rank up. But against that new Hydreigon Indeedee version, it gets really scary. You have to run them off the board immediately, or once they're set up, you're not going to be able to handle them because they will go Hydreigon with a giant cape, and they will make it so your Hydreigon cannot return knockout theirs. It's just, and then they get 2 attacks with their Hydreigon and you only get 1. Yeah, it's really, really, really tough. So those are like the decks that all the best players are playing, for the most part. It's just Hydreigon and Suicune. That is the majority of things I run into. But I do want to talk about some of the other weird stuff I have encountered, and have encountered with like a decent amount of frequency. I have tried my very best to recreate this deck list. I know it's not completely correct, but there are some cards in there I don't agree with. The versions I've been running into run double X speed. And just like looking at the list, I don't know what you're cutting for that second X speed. I would guess a Cyrus or a Copycat. Those are kind of the only 2 cards that can go. But I've been seeing a lot of Crobat. Crobat, if it gets set up quickly, is really, really tough for Suicune. And the Zubat damage with all the poison is really hard for Hydreigon as well. Especially against Chinglings. Against Chinglings, Chingling struggles against this deck very, very hard because it's worse than a Rocky Helmet because you could attack into like a Zubat with a Poison Barb, and if you have double Nihilego on the board, that Chingling's just going to get knocked out. And so you can kind of like really accelerate the pace of the game by doing that. And then even if you just have 1 Nihilego out, you can knock it out with a Zubat. Now, I'm sure you guys have done it too. I was playing this deck. I played it for like maybe 5 games, and I just kept not getting Crobat set up. I was like, this is the worst deck ever. I don't know why it is so impossible to set up Crobat, but I am just never getting, it's never happening. And then finally I had a game where, against a Goodra deck, first Goodra I've seen in Master Ball, and I was like, oh, this is easy. All I need to do is like find my Crobat. And it got to the point where I had 2 cards left in deck, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess my rare candies are stuck, and I researched and there's no rare candies. I'm sure you guys have done it too. Make a stage 2 deck without rare candies. I copied the deck from another Mega Absol Poison variant and just forgot to put the rare candies in. And then I was like, dude, what? All my good cards are gone. I have to get rid of an X speed. I got to get rid of a red card for the rare candies. Dang it, dude. Dang it. But no wonder I was not winning games. It's because I couldn't ever set up Crobat. But if you get Crobat set up very fast, it's super scary. It is more high roll of a deck. But it can also, it just puts on that early pressure with all the poison. Very, very good. And again, I will say, like against Suicune, like don't put the dang Mega Absol down too early. I swear, every time I would put down that Mega Absol, it would just lose me the game. Even when I thought I was safe to do it, I was not safe to do it. Like I hate, the Mega Absol struggles so much against Suicune. You just never want the guy down too early. You gotta wait until your opponent has like exhausted a Cyrus, and then you could put the Mega Absol down because they're going to try to Cyrus it twice in order to just win the game. But it's a fun deck. I really do love the poison stuff in this format. But again, like high roll, because you're really trying on your first turn to get like Zubat down, a Nihilego, a Poison Barb on the Zubat. And if that doesn't happen, then things can start to fall apart a little bit quickly. Even starting Nihilego or Mega Absol is not great with just one X speed in it, but I don't want to cut any of these other cards for another X speed. Like if I'm playing double X speed, man, we're missing something. Something cool is gone, and the double Cyrus feels unnecessary, man, because we're not one-shotting a single thing in this deck. Nothing's getting one-shot, and I don't really want to play the Sabrina in here either. Like I don't want to do a one Cyrus, one Sabrina split, because yes, it would be cool to like Sabrina and knock out, I don't know, like a Torchic on the bench or something stupid. But as soon as the game goes past that point, and that Pokemon has evolved, and there's like a Mega Blaziken or whatever, the Sabrina just loses all value. Because I'm never going to Sabrina something and then knock it out early, or knock it out with this damage I'm doing, right? Like, more often than not, they will have something that can tank a hit to be sent up. So I like the double Cyrus more in this list. Yeah, very fun, very high rolly, definitely not like top tier, but I've been seeing it a lot more, and I have been high rolled and destroyed by it. This is another deck I keep seeing everywhere, and well, not as much. When I say everywhere, I mean maybe like 5% of the time, which is a lot when it's all Hydreigon and Suicune. And let me tell you guys, I have been seeing the most insane Mega Blaziken variants. I have seen Double Cyrus. I have seen Pokemon Center Lady. I have seen not 2 Tongue Whip Heatmores, but one of the Heatmore that does 30 damage straight. And then one of these. I've seen one Heatmore, one Chingling. There are just so many versions of decks that it is impossible for you to tech them out. Now, I personally believe that like it's better to just play this version with the double copycat in it and say that, well, I will at least get Mega Blaziken online a good amount of the time. I think that's a lot better than taking an already high roll deck and trying to high roll even harder. Like, I would just rather get this guy set up consistently enough and hope that that's enough. And if it isn't enough, then like, why play the deck? And I don't really play Blaziken, to be honest. I don't think it's really that fantastic at the moment, but you will lose on the ladder to Blazikens that are high rolling. You might high roll with Blaziken yourself. To me, Blaziken is kind of like a make the deck, give it a try. If you go on a little bit of a win streak, cool, quit when you lose. If you lose a few games straight, cool, quit the deck. Like, I don't think this is a deck that you should be seriously considering when trying to get Master Ball or get top 1,000 or anything like that. The variance is just not on its side. This is the section where I give you guys a bit of caution in, and don't, like, this list, I will get to it. I will get to what's happening. This deck in High Master Ball with Hydreigons and Suicunes around, I would not touch. Again, I don't know what it's like in the lower tiers or even early Master Ball, like top 10,000 range, but I can tell you, throughout my entire time playing ranked, I think I have a 90% win rate against Altaria. 80 to 90%. It's not even close. It's insane. And what I've done is I've just taken all of the cards I have seen put into this list to try to fix its problems, but it still just doesn't matter. So I've seen double Jirachi builds. I've seen builds with Klefki in it. I've seen builds with red in it. Red cards. I've seen builds with Guzmas, Pokemon Center Ladies, all of these different cards to try to tech for one matchup or another. The Klefki and the red are like good for Suicune. Get rid of that giant cape so then you can hopefully knock out whatever's in front of you with Mega Altaria. The double Jirachi is really good against Chingling stuff or evolution deck, so is the Chingling itself. I have seen the baby Oricorio as well. There's a baby Oricorio that's a psychic type that does 80 damage if one of your Pokemon was knocked out on the previous turn for 1 energy, which the 1 energy thing is nice for sure. You can use that to like soften up something and then go Mega Altaria, take a knockout. But this deck is not in a good place. Even if you look at the Pocket Mage tournament results, the deck has not been doing well. And to be honest, I think it's because the builds that people are running don't make sense for the meta anymore. Mega Altaria is never going to beat Suicune with a 2-shotting war. Mega Altaria is going to need to one-shot that Suicune, and it needs to either be like laying damage down early enough to pick up that knockout, which is hard with the Indeedee now in that deck, or it just needs to have the capability to go in with Mega Altaria and swing once, knock out a Suicune fast before something else is set up, because anything else can then just two-shot Mega Altaria, and it can't one-shot, Mega Altaria can't one-shot the Pokemon back. So I don't know how I feel about Mega Altaria. I have been playing around with the list, like trying Reds and Guzmas in here to try to find something that just might work against these other decks, and I haven't yet. It just feels really, really tough in order to pull it off. I don't know. You want so many cards in this deck, and so many of those slots have to go to just like basic Pokemon that I'm not even sure. Like, I'm not sure where this deck is at this point. It doesn't seem like it's very strong in the meta, but I think it can come back if someone figures out a 60 card or a 20 card combination that is good, that is better into Suicune and better into Hydreigon's fine, but better into Suicune, because that deck is absolutely everywhere. Now, I've been seeing this deck everywhere as well, and it's very fun to play. It's very, very fun to play. There's two different builds. Giant Cape Pokemon Center Lady, swap those out for double Rocky Helmets. I like the Giant Cape Pokemon Center Lady to give me the edge against Suicune. You can put a Giant Cape on the Oricorio, and now it can't be knocked out by a Baby Greninja. You could put the Cape on a Zeraora at the correct time, and it won't be knocked out by Suicune, by a Suicune attack if you've properly managed the bench. But what this deck tries to do, because, I mean, take a look. We are not doing a lot of damage. We're doing 50 with our attackers and then plus 20 from Greninja. What you need to do with this deck is go for Cyruses on the Pokemon that can deal with the Oricorios, and then just let the Oricorios win you the game at the very end. That is tough to do against Hydreigon. I think a problem I have is it feels like the list like really wants a red card. I don't know what could go for it. I think if anything, maybe the Pokemon Center Lady feels the least important. I'm just not using it as often. And once you like the early game, you want to be going research, copycat. Mid to late game, you kind of just want to be going Cyrus. So the Pokemon Center Lady, like I mean, you'll use it and it will help you in some cases, but more often than not, it hasn't really felt like much to me. I almost think that a red card or a Mars might be better, because like against Hydreigon, man, you have to get rid of those dinos quickly. So you have to keep your opponent from getting into you have to keep him from getting into the Hydreigons. And if it's the Indeedee Giant Cape version, dude, forget it if they get that thing set up. If they get Rare Kenny Hydreigon against that version of the deck, it's kind of just over from there. You're just not doing enough damage to knock that Hydreigon out. But the games are very grindy, and they're all possible. You're in it on all of them. You just got to play to the best of your ability, and the deck can shine. And this is really the last deck I run into. Hey guys, I don't know who put this thing back on the map, or who like decided that it was okay again. It's really not. It's really not. This deck is not good at the moment. I don't think so. I've been doing fantastic against it. I don't think it has a good matchup in a Suicune, especially not with like the big Greninja anymore. And like it's just I don't know why so many people are playing it and why I am running into it 1 out of every like 10 games. But like put the Decidueye down, bro. Put the Decidueye down. I don't think it can beat lists that aren't prepared. It can beat players that don't know what they're doing. Yeah, whatever. Any deck can. This deck, it's not doing what it should, to be honest. I don't think, like, there's no way you're consistently beating Suicune with this. There's no way. There's no way. The Greninja EX comes into the active spot and does 100 damage, and then does 100 damage again, and then Ear does, and Indeedee heals it, and everything. It's just, I don't know what we're doing trying to bring this deck back. I have seen multiple variants of it. I've been running into, like, some Chinglings on ladder. Oh, and I will say, like, yeah, the game has stolen some W's off of me, but, like, overall, I don't think that it's in a great spot right now. I really don't. I would not be playing much Decidueye besides for fun. It's like a super fun deck, but a serious grinding deck. I would put down the Decidueye, bro. Just put it down. Step away from the Decidueye. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really like it's Suicune and Hydreigon right now. It's Suicune and Hydreigon. So get with it. or lose a bunch of points. No, I'm really interested to see if people crack ways to deal with it. Like, I think the most likely would be some Altaria variant that is better equipped to deal with Suicune, but maybe it's just not even possible. Excited to see where the metagame goes from here. But yes, this is in my top 500, 1,000 range. Well, technically, I'm like 450 right now, but in that area, upper Ultra Ball, these are the decks I'm seeing. So if you want to mirror that, like, obviously the people who got there have been doing fairly well with these type of decks. So I would give them a try, and let me know what you guys have been playing in your grind, and let me know if any of the list I've shown here have actually been working for you. If Decidueye has been working for you, hey man, we all go on God runs, all right? I went on a massive win streak with Magnezone. I will not tell you to pick up Magnezone anymore because there's a lot of Hydreigon around, and I don't think the deck really beats Hydreigon if Hydreigon just doesn't brick. So, yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one.